Hi everyone, so today I'm going to do a quick demo for how to make a collage self-portrait. So for our collage, we're going to focus on black and white paper, and then you're going to have one color for your mid-tone. So you're going to either use a paper bag because it's a neutral brown, or you're going to get some gray construction paper, which is more neutral. Everybody can get a brown paper bag at a Dwayne Reed or a Walgreens or at most grocery stores. A Target has them. Like, all the stores don't do plastic, so you can all get a paper bag much easier than you can probably get gray construction paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my head out of the paper bag. Okay, now I already did it since I make these demo videos kind of like a cooking show where everything's already done. So you can see this is my oval. So I want everybody to use a mirror to look at themselves in the mirror, or you can use a photograph that you turn to black and white, because the objective is you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and you're going to find the darks, the lights, like the shadows, the highlights, and then anything in between would be the mid-tone. So the first thing I did was I cut out an oval for my head, and that's the only thing that you should be drawing. Everything else you should not be using a pen or a pencil for. You should just be drawing with scissors. So drawing with scissors is a technique where instead of drawing something and cutting it out, you're just using this as like a pencil. And it's a lot more improvisational, and the idea is that collage is not perfect. It's supposed to be a little off. It's supposed to be a little quirky. So nothing here should look like a photograph in that sense, okay? So you want to think about composition, meaning the way you're arranging your head on the page. You're going to do head and neck and, of course, shoulders. So I already started thinking about it by putting a black piece of paper down. So now I have black and white. And in the photograph or in the by looking in the mirror, I want you to have like a light source near you. So you're going to have, light hitting one side of your face, and then you're going to observe the shadows. So anywhere where there's shadows, you're going to use the black paper. Anywhere where there's like a highlight, you're going to use the white paper, okay? So I also want you to think about how you're going to put the head on the page. Do you want it to be tilting down? Do you want it to look like it's tilting up? Do you want it to be going off the page? Do you want it to be down here? Do you just want to kind of turn it a little bit and then put the neck here? Think outside of the box. Don't just automatically go for something right in the center, okay? You can kind of play around with it. So I'm going to start there. And I'll do the neck last just for this bit, and I'm going to demonstrate this in class tomorrow. But what I want to start with is I just want you to start to think about using your scissors as a drawing tool. So you want to tear because you're going to get a soft edge. If you wanted it to be straighter, again, you can fold back and forth. And that's a way you can tear on the straight edge. Okay, so you're going to be looking in your mirror, looking at the shape of your nose, looking at the shape of your eyes, really thinking about like the oval here, the oval for your mouth, and then kind of the base shape of your nose, which if you were to do a geometric shape for your nose, it would be a triangle. But then you start to notice that it's like round on each side. So I'm going to demonstrate how you can use your scissors. So I'm going to cut my nose out of the brown paper, and I'm going to then add shadows and highlights so it starts to come alive onto the paper, okay? So again, it's collage, so nothing is supposed to be perfect, okay? You can even tear it. Okay, so now here's the starting shape for my nose. All right, now everyone's like, oh, that's too big, that's too small. You can always play with it once you put it on there. So it feels a little big. So I'm just going to trim it a little bit. Okay, Now I'm going to put it right there on the nose. Now, on the face. Now you're thinking, oh, you can't see it. But that's where you're going to really use your mirror or your photograph to really notice that there is like usually a highlight going right down the center of your nose and usually on the ends and on the round side. So then you're going to use your white paper and you can start to add some highlights. Okay, and then on the face, usually when you look in the mirror, you usually have shadows on each side of your nose. So then you're going to use the black paper. And you can tear or you can cut depending on what you want to do. And you can start to fill in around the face where you see shadow. So this is where your observation skills are going to become important. So usually you have shadows under your eyes. Okay. Now I already cut out my eyes just so I'd have them ready to show you. But so I'm just going to put that right there. Okay. And I can put the other one here. But I'm going to quickly show you. Now you usually have shadows under your eyes. And also because you have, because I have a light source coming, I'm going to have a shadow like under, like maybe the whole part of your face. So that's why I'm going to put that there. Okay. So now you can already start to see like the nose is coming alive a little bit. And again, you're using brown as a neutral shade, not necessarily as brown. You could easily use gray paper in its place if you had gray paper, but don't use anything other than like a brown paper bag or a gray construction paper, because then that gets a little too confusing. Okay? Now, something that people always forget to do when they do their eyes is they forget to do their eyelids. So everybody always looks so surprised. I always ask my students, like, when do you ever see the top of someone's eyeball? It's usually when their eyes are wide open because they're surprised or something. So you're going to put that down there. Then, now if this side of your face is more lit up with more highlights, maybe your eyebrow will be a little bit lighter. So I'll put the white there for the highlighted eyebrow. But then maybe there's some shadow there too, so you can add a little bit of a shadow, okay? And then of course you also want to put your pupil in. Now you notice I'm just laying this out. I haven't glued anything yet, and that's fine. Gluing can be the last thing that you do, okay? And then you also want to look on your face using your mirror or in the photograph, and you want to see where else you have a highlight on your face. Usually it's like on the opposite side or very close to your shadow. So maybe you have a shadow, highlight there, okay? And then you want to think about your mouth. Now, something you can think about, you don't have to just do a plain, straight ahead, like plain face. You can think about facial expressions, okay? I want you to really think about facial expressions. So like maybe I'm going to have my mouth be wide open, okay? And so I lay it down like that, and then if I want, I don't have to. I could leave it like that because I really like how the dark kind of creates depth for the mouth. But if you want to be a little bit more specific and make it feel like a little bit more specific, you can go ahead and cut that out. Now you see, like, I'm not trying to make this look like a human, like a photograph. This looks like a collage. It's very imperfect, right? But at the same time, it has a lot of personality because I cut the mouth, have it open, maybe tilting it a little bit. One way you can play around with facial expressions is by tilting the eyebrows down, putting the eyebrows up like they're surprised or confused, maybe turning the eye down like this. Thinking about the ways sometimes cartoon characters can show expression. It's usually just by having very few changes in the facial expression. Okay, so just want to kind of think about that. Put the eyelid on there. Okay, and then just a quick way to make your mouth open like that is anytime you want. As you can see, I made the eyes the same size. The way I did that was I took a piece of white paper, I folded it, I cut it like this. So then you open it, even if it's connected, just tear it. Now you have eyes the same size. And then you can go back in there and really kind of carve out that eye shape. Okay? So that's one way you can do it. And then for the mouth, the way you could do the mouth, the way I did the mouth, you can do a couple things. You can just cut like this and have it cut like, I always say a mouth is kind of like a sideways oval, something like that. And if you want to go in and do like the stereotypical look for lips, you can do that and kind of round them off a little bit because nobody's lips are really that super pointy. But if you want to do something that I did to show that it's open, okay, something you're going to do is you just bend it like this, just snip it, open it up, and then you're cutting along the inside without breaking the edge. And now you have a new mouth. Put that down like that. Kind of makes her look angry. And you're going to continue to go around and you're going to continue to make the details. So I want you to do hair. So again, tearing adds like a more natural edge to it, which, hair, particularly if you have like curly hair like me, or, frizzy hair like me, is going to be a little bit more of a fuzzy edge. It's not going to be stick straight, okay? And then, of course, you can also go in with the scissors if you want. You want to make more defined kind of zigzaggy curl, okay? You're going to lay that down there. Now remember, once you start playing around with it, you can eventually start gluing. But I just really wanted to show you, how to play around with it. And of course, you're also going to make your neck. So I'll take some paper. You can just lay that right under there. Okay. So again, we're going to go over this with a live demo in class, but just thinking about how you can create shapes without drawing. You really want to think about layering. It's okay if these layers see through each other. This is an artistic endeavor. It's not trying to create, a photographic image of somebody's face. If that was the case, I would just ask you to take a selfie. So hopefully this was helpful. And again, I will be doing the demo live in class and we'll be posting that to Blackboard too. Okay, see you tomorrow.